Okay, wonderful. So more and more participants coming back from the workshops. So I hope you had a great time and interesting interactive workshops. I personally have joined workshop number 2 and I really enjoyed it. So I can already thank the presenters. So I've just heard that there might be a bit of a delay in one of the workshops. So in order to fill this break, I will start the closing session by presenting a little video we have prepared from Agia as one of the co-organizers. So let me share this. And
Agia, the Arab-German Young Academy of Sciences and Humanities.
You can briefly type in the chat if you have heard the video sound. Perfect, yes. Then
is the first bilateral Young Academy. Agia, the Arab-German Young Academy of Sciences and Humanities, is the first bilateral Young Academy worldwide. More than 50 members, an equal number of Arab and German scholars, have been selected to join Agia since 2013.
Hello, my name is Hanan Badr. I am a postdoctoral researcher at the Institute for Communication and Media Studies at Freie Universität Berlin.
My name is Oliver Korn. I'm a professor for human-computer interaction at the University of Offenburg.
I'm Tarek Tawfik, an Egyptologist based in Cairo.
My name is Mohammed Abulanain. I'm a junior professor at Charité Berlin.
My name is Ahmed El-Gindi. I am an associate professor of mathematics here at Texas A&M at Qatar.
My name is Verena Lepper. I am an Egyptologist here in Berlin at the National Museums.
My name is Jan Völkel. I'm a political scientist at Cairo University and I'm a proud member of Agia.
I'm a member of Agia.
I'm an Agia member.
I am happy to be an Agia member.
I'm a proud member of Agia.
Agia brings together excellent Arab and German scholars to face shared challenges and develop solutions through research cooperation across all disciplines. How can we preserve cultural artifacts? Agia members Verena Lepper and Abdallah El-Bashir analyze archaeological finds in Sudan by means of chemical fingerprinting.
So we're right in the middle of Naga here in northern Sudan, and we're part of a field trip team which is run by Abdallah El-Bashir and me as members of Agia, and we're looking at different meroitic sites.
What I find really unique about the project is that chemists and an Egyptologist work together. So someone from the natural sciences and the humanities, and we would probably not have worked together without Agia and would not have had the opportunity to develop this project.
Social robots replacing humans in healthcare and domestic work. What do young academics in Arab countries and Germany think about this? Agia member Oliver Korn looks into this question. He conducts a comparative study with the support of his fellow Agia members.
Social robots are robots which help us in different areas, for example, healthcare or as personal assistants. So I wanted to find out how do the views and the acceptance of these social robots differ in various cultures. And of course, Agia is the ideal platform for testing it out.
How can we improve healthcare for Syrian refugees in Germany? AGYA member Mohammed Albul Ainain prepares policy recommendations together with the AGYA Working Group on Health and Society.
My project is a study on the perception of healthcare access for refugees in Germany. I'm fine, how are you doing? I do this project with other members because then they can bring in their ideas about social science and how the socio-economic factors impact the life of refugees.
How can we attract high school students to mathematics? AGYA member Ahmed El Gindi organizes math camps for young talents with German and Qatari trainers in Doha.
High school students, they have many talents that they themselves may not recognize. And we need to try to give them the chance to find their strengths and develop them. The most rewarding thing is when you see the students eagerly working on a problem and having this focus in their eyes and in their brain, and you kind of see a bright future whenever you see them.
AGYA offers a lot of benefits. Of course, we get some research grants for proposals that we can develop ourselves.
The networking possibility is fabulous.
You meet directly people, you discuss with them, and it's not like writing an email or something like that.
I have met wonderful scientists from other disciplines like chemistry, medicine, and of course political science.
So it really enriches my own portfolio, my own knowledge, and my own contacts.
And with time, you have the impression that you are a member of a family.
Together we have tackled issues and questions that are relevant to our society, and we would go beyond the ivory towers of academia.
So what makes the AGYA team great is the interdisciplinary and the motivation to change things into a better way.
AGYA opens perspectives. AGYA opens the world.
Find out more about AGYA on agya.info.
Wonderful. So this was a video to present you one of the co-organizers, AGYA, the Arab-German Young Academy of Sciences and Humanities, and especially for like early career researchers after your PhD, if you're based in an Arab or German, like in an Arab country or Germany, please explore this opportunity to become a member. You can just recommend it. And through AGYA, we were able to get this grant for conducting this wonderful conference. So now I see that the room has been filling during this video presentation. And to make this room even more nice, I can invite you to switch on your video for the final session if you like. And perfect. And I see that, for example, Banja Luka has a very nice video background. So I think this is now the opportunity for everyone to show like where you're working at the moment, where you. So I have my office in my bedroom actually. So hi. And we want to start this closing session with the reports from the 4 workshops we just had, as I think no one was able to join all 4 workshops in parallel. We are very eager to find out like what you have worked on, what method you use, and also what have been your main findings. And I would like to start just in the order as we numbered them. So the first workshop was changing energy flow from bottom up in Bosnia and Herzegovina. And do we have the workshop organizer or rapporteur here to give some insights on what was your guiding topic, what format did you choose to discuss the topic, and what are your main findings? If yes, you can just unmute yourself.
Hello, this is Maida speaking.
Hi, Maida.
From Banja Luka, Bosnia and Herzegovina. I would like to greet all of the participants here and yourself and all of the organizers, and to thank you for having us in this wonderful conference. And it was really a pleasure and a joy to participate in some of the presentations from yesterday and today's workshop. I would be really kind of clear and brief why we chose actually this particular topic and why we chose the way of the presentation and the workshop that we did actually. So changing energy flow from bottom up is something that I presented in the first part of the workshop to the participants, because the method that we used to create this particular workshop included first to all participants to get to know to Bosnia and Herzegovina, particularly to our energy system, what it looks like currently, and what are our greatest challenges and perspectives in terms of energy transition that leads to climate change solutions. So the method that we use is to kind of get to know all the people with the current situation in Bosnia and Herzegovina regarding harmful coal and hydro projects. Why I say harmful hydro projects? Because we're currently dealing with a lot of different small hydropower plant projects that are usually considered to be renewable, but in our case they are not, and they are harmful for the environment and for the affected communities, and they do not contribute to the electricity production in our country. So we have a lot of different issues regarding this, but we also offer different solutions to this topic, considering the inclusiveness and involvement and engagement of the affected local communities when I'm talking about hydro. And on the other side, we were talking about harmful coal projects that are affecting Bosnia and Herzegovina and the population and the environment itself. And the aim of the workshop was to engage the participants into this specific problem that we are having in our own country. But this is not a specific problem just for Bosnia and Herzegovina. I mean, coal, especially coal, is harmful for all the communities. And we wanted to show the participants the way that we handle these specific problems and the way we communicate with local affected communities, because we believe in the center, we believe that the climate solutions really need to come from bottom up, because we have a lot of problems with our administration and different levels of governance that is particularly hard and difficult for us to kind of fight for climate from top to bottom, and to influence different institutions and different stakeholders and decision makers particularly. That's why we had an approach from bottom up. That's why we presented in this workshop some of our initiatives regarding citizens' energy projects that actually include and interconnect voices of people and affected communities that are actually being affected by coal and by hydro. We presented one area of one river basin, Sana River, which offers a lot more different potentials than hydro, and that is actually being polluted by a coal mine, which these all projects are really, really close. And one community is fighting in its own way, and we are helping them by installment of solar panels in their community. We want to see the solar village there. And also the workshop, I hope, and maybe someone that was present as well can maybe confirm that we managed to kind of get different perspectives of the participants on the problematic, and to kind of generate the ideas on how to communicate and how to offer solutions to affected communities, especially affected by coal from one side and hydro from another side, because this is a particular problem we are dealing with. I hope that the participants managed to acknowledge the different fights we are currently fighting through our own campaigns. And they also offer their own ways of thinking on how to deal with these matters and what solutions, especially in terms of climate change, we might bring together. We also mentioned a little bit of topics of inclusivity of indigenous communities, to raise gender issues as well, to overcome the patriarchal system that we have in Bosnia and Herzegovina in particular. And we also talked a little bit of the unfortunate nationalism that and ethnic problems that we occur here and how to overcome them, and how these types of projects such as Solar Petska and the different citizens initiatives can bring all these voices together and interconnected voices that can be the voices of change, particularly in climate issues. So from my side, that is something that I wanted to share with you. But of course, if someone else from the workshop wants to share the thoughts, I hope I managed to share with all of you.
Maida, on reflecting on your workshop and the topic. So any of the participants, you're invited to either write something in the chat to confirm or to supplement the reports, or you can just also unmute yourself. So I know that's okay. I see Sakia, you want to speak maybe?
Right. Yeah, I can only second Maida. Thank you again for this great workshop. And like you said, the title of this conference is Interconnected Voices, and we've gotten a lot of input over the last 2 days. And throughout this this workshop session, we could really see, like, on the ground, how you really have to take into account all these voices, and it's not that easy. And I think, Maida, you did a really good job of showing us through stories and through pictures how this is happening in Bosnia and Herzegovina. Yeah.
Wonderful. Thank you very much. So I think if people are more interested in your work, you can they can find you on the conference website. And so in the matter of time, as we have 3 more workshops to report, I would now jump to the next one. And the next one is workshop number 2, Rights-Based Approach for Climate Justice, Renewable Energy and Indigenous Peoples. And I believe Janine will report, and I can maybe give some structure by just reading out the first question. So what was your guiding topic for the workshop?
Thank you, Yate. Hello, everyone. First off, I just want to thank the event organizers for inviting the Indigenous Peoples Major Group to be a part of this very important convening. We really enjoyed our time together. So Philippe read out the title of our work session. During our work session, we discussed rights-based approaches to renewable energy development that centers Indigenous-led solutions. And we started our session hearing from presenters about the Indigenous Peoples Major Group's Right Energy Partnership, and invited speakers from the Philippines, Russia, Africa, and Latin America to share their experiences at the local level regarding unjust energy projects promoted in their homelands under the label of sustainable development. So much like what was reported from the first workshop. We had 2 Q&A sessions to delve deeper into some of the information presented by our excellent speakers, and we ended our session with an interactive dialogue on holistic and sustainable solutions for climate justice and other questions that came from the audience and panelists. Some of our main findings were that energy projects from wind farms, hydroelectric dams, geothermal energy, etc., although renewable, are labeled renewable, continue to threaten Indigenous peoples' rights to lands, territories, and resources, and their livelihoods in different regions around the globe. We've also heard that COVID-19 is inhibiting during this period community organizing, even as development actors speed up development plans to build, or build back better as a strategy for post-COVID recovery, creating even more barriers for achieving and upholding the free, prior, and informed consent of Indigenous peoples to be respected and upheld, and also a lack of being able to participate through these types of virtual platforms because of poor telecommunications infrastructure is further inhibiting participation in decision-making processes and even ways in which Indigenous peoples can protect their lands and peoples. Part of the solutions and discussion around solutions emphasize the importance of participatory and community-based research as a way to build a foundation for successful partnerships and collaboration that centers the needs, values, and vision of the impacted communities so that they can share equitable benefits from any development that happens in their territories. We also discussed how decentralization of development and off-grid renewable energy systems are opposed by energy companies, even as they reflect more sustainable and rights-based approaches to some of our endemic energy issues. And so this leads us to a need for sustainable long-term partnerships that protect Indigenous peoples and secure community benefits. Oftentimes, as it has been with fossil fuel development, it is now being replicated with renewable energy development. These developments are taking place to produce energy for elsewhere or for selling to other places and don't directly benefit the communities that are most impacted. And so one of the major lessons is that we have to pay attention to the problems of greenwashing and hold corporations and governments accountable to misleading claims that because we all desperately need real climate solutions now, and Indigenous peoples are eager to help guide what holistic and sustainable and inclusive approaches look like as we imagine these alternative energy futures. Thank you.
Oh, wonderful. And I joined this workshop and I was really wondering, yes, you can show here some reactions. So thanks for this summary, because I was really wondering how you solved this, and this thing was amazing. And so if anyone wants to add, I can also invite you to write into the chat. When, for example, if you have joined this session, this workshop, just write into the chat if you want to supplement the summary. But I can just repeat that I found it very excellent, and it was amazing to see, I think, 4 continents being represented, bringing in their stories. So thank you very much for hosting this. Then I would like to proceed with workshop number 3. Is this what democracy looks like? Looking at the intersection of democracy and climate justice. And here we had 2 workshop organizers, Felix and Johannes. So I guess maybe one of you or both would like to give feedback on what was your guiding topic, what format did you choose to discuss the topic, and what are your main findings from the workshop? So you can just unmute yourself and start.
Hey, I'm Johannes. Felix had to go already, but because he had to go to a workshop. Fun fact at the start. Well, our topic was democracy and climate justice, and it was like based on the idea of that climate justice needs democracy to like evolve and to be to get there, or to get climate justice. It needs democracy. And we had a pretty, we had a workshop with a lot of discussion about it. We focused on 2 different democratic ways. One was wait, let me check. It was in English and I'm still not really well with it. One was on citizen assemblies. So just people from the crowd just getting together and deciding things and discussing a lot about the topics, for example, in this case, obviously climate justice, and presenting their ideas. So they are not always the same people deciding things. And the other one was civil disobedience, so using your own body and breaking particular rules or laws to show that you're not happy with some things that are going on or with injustices at an area or in the world. And we discussed how that works and how, if that actually helps or if it actually brings us to climate democracy. And I can't like conclude because we had a discussion and I didn't rule it. So I would just finish here. But if any of the participants want to say something, obviously you can.
Yes, thanks a lot. And I have to say, I joined this initially, then I jumped to another one, but I was also very impressed by the method you have chosen. Very interactive, the mural tool. But yeah, maybe some of the participants want to add, or you can just unmute yourself or write something into the chat. Okay, then thanks for presenting, and thanks for conducting the workshop, especially. For example, this workshop was also not recorded because we also wanted to offer this as a free and safe discussion space. So I think this is also important to mention. So then we go to workshop number 4, Emancipatory Politics in Time of Crisis, an interdisciplinary approach on multi-level challenges by Anna, Klaus, and Steffen. So I guess one of you or all 3 of you want to briefly tell us on what was your guiding topic, what format did you choose to discuss the topic, and what are your main findings from the workshop?
Yeah, thank you. First of all, we'd like to thank the organizers for inviting us. I'm part of a very new initiative from Germany that is trying to bring together different perspectives on climate justice discourse. We have like 4 major perspectives, let's say, or topics. One is climate plans for Germany, which means a collection of concrete measures, what to do or what must be done to come to carbon zero within a few years. The second is an intersectional and global approach to climate justice. The third is that we want to take into account what groups from the global south tell us about their demands, because this is very often those perspectives on what must be done, what concrete measures must be done in order to, for example, solve climate crisis is very different from what people in Europe think about that. And the fourth approach is a psychological one, because we're all somehow social science scientists, psychologists, or something like that, and we discovered that there are a lot of psychological dimensions of climate crisis and climate justice. So, for example, regarding climate anxiety and depression on the one side, but the maybe even more interesting side of the thing is that also empowerment and successful climate movement needs to address a lot of psychological questions. So how to communicate within the movement and with society, how to address emotions and so on, and how to build sustainable communities that can really work together for a long time. And our workshop, or in our workshop, we gave input on all 4 of those topics, and then we had a very long discussion because we were a small group, and that gave us the opportunity to really go into depth and discuss on possibilities and also challenges of bringing those 4 things together. I think we did not find one solution or one thing that I can share with you now, but it was a very interesting discussion, and a few of the participants are here, so maybe someone wants to add something. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Stefan. And again, invitation to the participants if they want to add something. I'm not pushing because I know that this is really the final 30 minutes of the conference, and it's great that the videos are on because I can assess that a little tiredness is in the room. But I will keep up here the spirit and guide you through the really final steps of our closing session. So first of all, again, thanks for this a great workshop. So show me some reactions here. I can also give you this. And we have really had managed to have 4 parallel workshops with super interactive formats. And I think this is something I haven't experienced in another conference setting yet. So I'm quite happy and proud that we managed this. And now I want to go into a little review of the conference days. And no worries, it will only take like 2 or 3 minutes. And so the one is that we created this hashtag Interconnected Voices 2020. And it was quite often used. So the feedback or the review, I just went on the Twitter page and searched for Interconnected Voices 2020 as a hashtag. And then I was reminded of all the great sessions and presentations. And so what we did is, it was about climate change, especially on the first day. We looked at climate action. So this is what solutions can we find to fight climate change. So we looked at energy, but there was also transport. We learned about bicycle initiatives in, I think, I forgot the country, I'm sorry, because I haven't joined the talk. It was in a parallel session. We have learned about also cross-cutting issues, about the role of society. And but for the whole day already yesterday, it was not only about technical solutions. So even in the keynote, in the very first presentation by a professor from UC Berkeley, he mentioned a study when they looked at racial injustice in solar deployment in the US. So we already had on day 1 the topic of justice. And on day 2, then it really went on to discuss this in a more detailed way. And I think what we can take away from this conference is that the conventional way, and I would say self-critical, the European-centered way or the industrialized way dominated by white male engineers is taking the direct way from climate action to climate change. And we should not take this way, we should take the way considering climate justice. And this is filled with a lot of side notes here. We ask you to bring in when we discussed what is needed to fight climate change. And we need, interestingly, this was at the very first session on day one. So, so I was expecting something like technology and renewables and maybe subsidies. So this is what I see in other conferences. And here we had participation, education, solidarity, equality, awareness. And I think this touches perfectly how we approached during these 2 days the topic of how to fight climate change, because this goes beyond technological solutions. It's an issue of, to say it in this concrete words, it's an issue about fighting the system of maybe a capitalistic structure and of a lot of injustices coming often based in colonialism. So all this needs to be considered in our work and research on fighting climate change. So thank you very much for providing all these insights and being active in these 2 days. And so I forgot what I have next. So next is the final interactive exercise here. And what I ask you is that similar to day one, that you go to menti.com, and I will open this here. And of course, I mean, for the summary, you can also write into the chat if you agree or disagree on the summary of the conference. So go to menti.com, and I start this and the screen sharing again. And you log into menti.com with the code 5328410. 5328410. And the first thing is, please describe this conference in one word. You can type in 3 words, but 3 single words, please. So we have already diverse and interesting, inspiring, I like watching these word clouds to form. So I'll wait for some more to join. So again, go to menti.com. You can use a browser on your laptop you're sitting at. You can also use your smartphone if you want to. You can also log in twice. And so you go to menti.com and then you use the code 5328401. Okay, and we see another, I think that's quite a nice compliment to everyone joining here, that a conference is inspiring and interesting and diverse. I take this also as a strong compliment, because this was a strong focus of us designing the program, that we reflect diverse voices in many dimensions, empowering. Yes, I feel the same, and overwhelming as well. And I hope, especially for overwhelming, that the session with the psychologist for future helped also to structure like these thoughts on how big this task is we are ahead of. Okay, wonderful. Then The next question I have is I want to collect some feedback on how would you rate the conference from very bad to very good regarding usefulness of the information, quality of the presentations, quality of the workshops, presenter skills. So please excluding me, speaking of the presenters of the presentations and the workshops, length of the conference, the 2-day conference, and how you found, how would you rate the digital conference platform Summit? So I don't see results coming in, not sure what is going on. Yes, now the first results are coming. Okay, so for the ones not being 100% satisfied with the length of the conference, you might want to write in the Zoom chat if you found it rather like too long or too short. This would be very helpful because I can promise that we are planning to repeat this, but of course then we want to improve. So for the length of the conference, you can maybe write if you found it too long or too short. But aside from this, I think it's an incredible result. We can especially feedback to the presenters, for the workshops and usefulness of the information. So perfect digital conference platform seems to be quite good as well. If you would have rated them lower, we would then ask for a discount, but keep it as it is now. And again, so if you want, you can write into the chat if you found it rather too long or too short so that we can adapt length of the conference the next time. And now we're exploring also the topic of online conferences versus on-site conferences. And as I explained in the opening session, we designed this idea in December last year. So this was in pre-COVID times. And at that time, we were all, okay, one is really taking the full advantages of such an online conference. So when we designed this, it was not about how to deal with a global pandemic. It was, our narrative was avoided emissions and no accessibility issues. As we experience in AGIA, for example, we have members from Syria, and then it's very hard to find a visa to come for a 2-day conference. So the options we find here is avoided emissions by avoided traveling, no accessibility options, restrictions, no conference fee. I think it's easier to make this without the conference fee if you don't rent a fancy conference place and do catering and so on. It's also more flexible. I see here, you find this. Wearing sweatpants all day. I violated this today, but yesterday I enjoyed this a lot. So it can also be a reason. And for the other, yeah, if you like, you can type the answer in the Zoom chat. I'm not seeing anything in the chat right now. But thanks for the feedback. And we found, especially, of course, also the first issue, avoided emissions, important when we conduct a conference on climate change and climate justice, and we want to be inclusive and invite people from all over the world, and then we would have like several tons of CO2 assigned just for this conference. So I think this would be a bit contradictory. And then just to ask you if there's anything more you want to add before we close this survey. So there's already something, there are already some comments. Just anything you want to add regarding the conference. If not, you can also just say none, or you can just say thank you, or send us a smiley. Yeah, that's working well. I'm always fishing for compliments at this slide here. Okay, perfect. More breaks in between. Yeah, I experienced the same, that it's quite exhausting. You sit in front of your screen all the time. Not enough spaces to meet people. We also will work on this. This was something we wanted to allow with this conference platform, but I also see room to improve this. The thematic groups, I'm not sure if they were used. I think I wrote once something into the thematic groups, but I think as we had such a dense program, most people they could not explore it. Okay, thank you very much for giving your feedback here. And as I said, so this is a bit fishing for compliments, but of course, this should not go into my direction. That's why I continue here. And first of all, I would like to thank the Federal Ministry of Education and Research, because basically they provided the grant for this conference to have the person power to do a lot of the organizing work, also to pay for the conference platform and to make this an overall possible. But more important is AGYA, Arab German Young Academy of Sciences and Humanities, one of the organizing partners, and I hope you met some of their members. I'm sure, because I'm one of the members of AGYA, but also other presenters and moderators are member of AGYA, but also you have the AGYA office in Berlin and their main staff. And I would like to point directly to Maria, and Maria can maybe, not sure if we can see you now, but Maria, thanks a lot, and your team for this great collaboration making this conference happening. And I know it was quite exhausting for you, as we had just a General Assembly, I think 1.5 weeks ago. So next time we do it with a wider timely distance to the General Assembly. But yeah, thanks a lot for being such a great partner for organizing this conference. And then, of course, I thank my colleagues at RLI, and especially Katrin, Zakia, and Clara, and you have been in touch with all of them because they are the masterminds behind designing the program, setting up the conference website or the conference platform, addressing all issues, and then making it work, that we were running through these 2 days without any interference. And thank you so much. And there were always, and I know there were some night shifts involved and everything. So thank you, Katrin, Zakia, and Clara for your efforts here. And then, of course, as this is what the conference forms, to all speakers, moderators, workshop hosts, and participants. And this is the moment where I stop screen sharing and again want to look into these faces here I see, and you can all give here some applause and other reactions you can find, because this was something I really enjoyed, and can just again say how yeah, how inspiring this was. And again, for all by the participants, by the moderators, workshop hosts, and speakers, and again by the organizers team. And as we already in this emotional moment, I want to add something on top, because we prepared a musical contribution. And so now for you, it's time to sit back and make sure you have good audio quality. And I will run this video, and then after the video, I will say some final remarks, and then we are getting to the real closing of this conference. Wow. So I think it's impossible to really follow after this video with appropriate words. So I can just say, take this as inspiration. Let's collaborate and fight against climate change and for climate justice together. And we're now connected. We have collected so many ideas on how to work on this, and use this conference platform to exchange your contacts. It will be open until end of the year. You will also find the presentations there and the recorded sessions. So feel free to explore this. But for now, I just want to say that it was an amazing experience these 2 days, and we want to officially close it and thank everyone for joining us. So please switch on video, audio, wave goodbye, say some words for, and bye-bye.
Bye-bye, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Thanks, everyone.
Bye. Thanks so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.